So, a quick video on how the Premiere Pro windows and workspaces work. In Premiere, you have a number of workspaces. They can be accessed in a couple of different ways. You can either just simply click on the top of the main here, and you can see you can jump around between the different, and they'll have different panes depending on what workspace you're working with. You can also go to Window and select Workspace from here. So if we go back to Edit here, and then that's the same as jumping here. Now, each of these contain a window, and then I can access that under this window here. I can either do this by going down here and selecting the timeline, for instance, if I want that window. Or some of these also have shortcuts, so the timeline has the shortcut Shift 3, so I can do that. Now, to connect this to the rest of the window, I'll move my pointer somewhere at the top of the window here. It'll change from pointer to this slightly different. It has a little bit of a white rectangle there. So I click and hold, and now you can see how the other panes, window panes, light up like this. So if I drop it here, and now I've attached the timeline to this section of the window. I can also move this around also. Okay, so to import materials you can work with, you can either just double click in the project window here, but in this case I'm simply going to switch over to the Finder, and there we go. Here's my material, drag that in, and boom, there we go. There are obviously different ways of creating a new project or sequence, as Premiere calls it. But in this case, the easiest way probably is going to be to create a new sequence from the project as you guys have been recording your own videos. So I'm going to select one of these, right click, and do new sequence from clip. I can also select this, go to File, New, and then sequence from clip. So that's exactly the same thing. I'll do that. And then here we have my sequence. Now, this window here is become the timeline window. So if I press the spacebar, and that will play back my footage, and the footage that being played in black is then shown up here in the program window. Okay. To maneuver around and edit video, you need to be in the correct window. There's two ways of doing this. Either simply just click on the window like this, or use the shortcut, which is Shift 1, 2, 3, and 4, of course, depending on how many windows you have. If you are in the timeline window here, you can use plus and minus to zoom in and out, spacebar to start, and to stop, of course, and you can use page up and down to get the beginning of project and the project. And there are also other shortcuts to maneuver around, but a quick way is to do exactly the same thing as you do in Logic. Is basically click somewhere at the top of the timeline, and you can play from that point. Now, to edit stuff, there are, again, a number of ways of doing this. Quick way is to press C to get the razor blade, and that way I can cut things, and then click V to go back to my pointer again. And then you probably wanted to delete the stuff that you've edited out. So to do this, select, press backspace to delete. Or what is common when you're working with video is to do what's known as a ripple delete. And before I do this, I'm going to color these so it's going to be easy to see what we're doing. So I'm going to select these two, right click, label, give it a forest green. And then if I now delete this as per always, I get a gap here in between. But if I ripple delete instead, so Control click or right click and select ripple delete, then it will delete this clip, but then also move back the clips that we have afterwards. So if I do this again, I'll do this slightly differently this time. So select the clip that you want to remove, either right click and ripple delete, or what you can do also is Control and delete, and that will also ripple delete. Finally, to add transitions and effects, there are two main ways of doing this. If I'm in the timeline, I can move my cursor between two clips like this, and when I do that and then right click, and I can apply a default transition. I can change my default transition if I want to, but most of the times there'll obviously be cross dissolve in between the two. So I'll play that back. We can see that they blend together. But I might want to use a different transition, And there are a number of ways to get to the effects, but in this case I'm just going to use the workspace. So I'm going to click on effects, and we get a different combination of windows. I'm going to go to video transitions in the right upper hand side, and then I'm going to get a page peel. So let's grab that and position it between the two, and now we have a page peel. Looks like that. And that way you can find lots of different transitions and add other transitions, of course. Cool.